We look to next year, and Virginia is going to be a major, major issue yet again. Of course, we're going to look at Sam Hauser, who's going to be eligible, who I remember reading some stories about. He really did a nice job in practice, right? Preparing against Syracuse, things like that.
I think that Sam Hauser is going to be a difference maker. I think he's going to be a number 1-2 type scorer. But here we've got a case where, this has been one of the best programs in the nation for the last 5 years, and Sam Hauser is going to walk right in and be expected to be a huge part next year.
He's a 40% shooter from three-point range, so you have some core players returning, and you now have a situation where you're adding a great three-point shooter, because if you look back to the year before in 2019, they were 39.5%. That was 8th in the country. So it really was amazing that they were able to score, generate points, and have this success while really not shooting three-pointers great as a team.
When you look at Thomas Wodetensai and how hot he got, we talked about the Louisville game, but it really carried on down the stretch. He was brought in because he's a great three-point shooter. He was not very good for the first half of the year, and I don't know that I've been around a player that went from supposedly great to not very good to that consistently good down the stretch. And it added an element. And next year, if he's able to do that with Hauser, with Kihei bringing the ball up, and then depending on what you're going to get out of Jay Huff, then you factor in some of the young kids, I think they do have a real chance to be better offensively. And they're going to be good defensively.
And this year so far, the commitments look very, very strong. We talked about Hauser. Jabri Abdul-Rahim, who's from out here in New Jersey, so we know him very well from Blair Academy, 4-star recruit, top 40 in the nation here, number 2 in the state. They have Reese Beekman coming in, who's a 4-star recruit from Louisiana. He's number 1 in the state. And Carson McCorkle, who's a 3-star recruit from North Carolina. So if you add in Hauser, I think this is one of the stronger recruiting classes, right, that Bennett's ever had.
Oh, absolutely. And it's one of the things that I remember, and this goes back a little bit, but I remember when they kind of blew the game against Syracuse with the Final Four on the line, the Elite Eight. We were in Chicago, and there was so much of, Tony Bennett's never going to win. Tony Bennett's never going to get it done. That style can't win in the tournament. All of that stuff that, since has been obviously disproven. But one of the things I thought was, hey, Tony Bennett, in where he is building this program, had gotten him to that point really without that big-time recruiting class. And even when you think about the big three that led him to the championship, Jerome and Hunter were not even super high-level recruits. Kyle Guy was actually probably the highest recruit rated on the board, if I'm remembering right. All three were very good, but this is the first time he's really had a class where people are saying, wow, he's recruiting now the kind of players that you would think a team that wins a national title or there's always in the top 10, but it's going to change the way they do things. And we saw that in the national title run. That offense, it was efficient, and everybody wants to talk about pace and efficiency, but it was pretty unstoppable too. I mean, those guys could get a bucket when they needed one. I think with more players like that coming into the program, you're going to see an evolution on the offensive side. Again, defense, we know what they are. You're going to see an evolution of what Tony Bennett wants this program to be.